Good afternoon. This is Marie from Rebreak Speaks. I hope you guys are all having a lovely day. We're here today with Dr. Monika Gostić. Is that correct?
Yeah, perfect.
Gostić, and we're going to be talking about everything from your background, struggles, and your business, which I'm very excited to talk about. And so how are you today?
I'm really good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for having me here. This
No.
is really, really exciting, and I'm just looking forward to having this amazing talk.
I mean, it's a privilege, definitely. And, we were talking about earlier how we've never really done podcasts. We were like, it's just conversation and everything.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing topic that we'll be talking about, but we discussed the fact, because I was wondering where you're from and everything. And, you said that you're from Slovenia.
Mm-hmm.
And did you move here for, studying, work?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So basically, I'm changing countries like a nomad. I'm originally from Slovenia, where I was born and bred, and I
Right.
attended my uni there. But then I moved to Germany, where I did my Master's of Science.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was really good. So I lived there for about 3 years. And it was an incredible time. It was in Munich, and yes, I was at Oktoberfest all three of them at that time.
The beer
It was so
festival.
good.
Was it as good as they
Oh, yeah.
said it was?
I can't remember, to be fair.
Oh, right, okay. So, yeah, it's just over there.
No, I mean, from all that beer.
All right.
But yeah, no, it was super fun. And then I got a PhD offer
Right.
in St. Andrews.
Amazing.
And I always wanted to be a scientist. So I was like, well, I've never been to Scotland. I've heard good things about Scotland.
wow.
So why not? And
Exactly.
I got a full 3-year scholarship. And then I was like, okay, I'm just
Yeah.
going to move.
So did you enjoy studying in St. Andrews then?
Yeah, it was actually really fun. First year was super exciting, then got a little bit boring for me, so I moved to Dundee, and yeah, I've been here ever since.
Too far at all as well. Like,
Oh no, just around the corner.
Yeah, I've always loved Dundee myself as well and everything. So is your family here, like your parents or?
No, I was here by myself.
Just
on my
yourself,
own.
yeah.
Well, I now made my own family, but
Yes.
everyone's back home in Slovenia.
Do you miss them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I do.
Do you visit them as often as you can, or?
Usually we go once or twice a
Right,
year.
okay.
This year, obviously, the unique situation, but
with Corona.
yeah, we were planning for next year big things.
You make things, yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear them. Hopefully, the viewers as well and everything. So as you know, we're talking about women empowerment, obviously, with that topic. And as a woman, especially in business, and you must have faced a lot of challenges, on going where you are now. Can you share anything, like any worst experience that you face to our viewers?
This is actually quite a difficult question because when you are developing your own business, I don't think it matters what gender you are. Obviously, there are unique situations whether you're a woman or a man. However, whenever you're developing your own business, you're always struggling with yourself the most.
Okay.
So it's a very personal journey, especially if it's your own business, because you're so emotionally attached to it, and you get scared of failure, and you're consequently just blocking your own self, if that makes sense.
Of course.
So I think the worst thing for me and the most difficult thing for me before I managed to kind of break through was a terrible imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah, and just thinking that I'm not good enough to run my own business. I'm not good enough to help others. And despite the fact that I have all this vast knowledge and experience in the background, I felt that I should not be doing that. And that was really holding me back for over a year until I really worked through it. So it was mostly mental challenge rather than anything else.
Okay, so with the imposter syndrome, as you said, were you diagnosed with this?
Self-diagnosed.
Self-diagnosed. Can you tell me more about it though? Like, I mean, I've seen that over Instagram, and I've seen videos about people on YouTube doing that. Is that, so when you say imposter, is that like you're obviously battling with yourself? So feels like you have another person inside you? Is that what it means, or?
No. So how I interpret it is like, when you're wanting to do something, you don't feel that you yourself are good enough. You do not belong there. You're an imposter. You don't belong in that space. You feel for yourself that you're not worthy of having this business, or of being present in that situation, or of giving advice to other people, all these kind of things. So I felt I'm not good enough. And it's quite interesting because I feel that stems from my scientific career, because as a scientist, we are constantly reminded that our research, as significant as it is in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. You know, it doesn't mean much. You always need to compare it to other researchers, to this, to that. It's nothing to be like, oh, you know, I discovered this. It's like, well, actually, you know, and I've been trained as a scientist for 10 years. And my brain have been trained for 10 years that no matter what I do, there's always a different angle to it. And it's ever evolving. So when I first decided I was going to start my business, I was like, oh wow, you know, someone must be doing this better. This person's already doing it. I really shouldn't start this. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I don't belong here. So that is what I mean by the imposter syndrome.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle. I think mental health is definitely plays a big part in terms of doing something, changing a career, opening up a business, everything, you know, and you know, it's harder as well. And especially being a woman, do you ever feel like pressured that, like, you know, in terms of like, you know, you said that you struggled with like, you know, you're not feeling good enough or something, and there's some of that comes from being a woman? Like, do you think that, you know, we don't have as much role model in terms of starting a business, or like, you know, like we grew up like you know, you have this checklist, you know, you go to school, you get a husband, you get kids, and almost seem like that's what we should supposed to do. You know, we're breaking the rules almost, as they say. And did you ever feel like that?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because yes, I did feel quite a lot of time that as a woman, you know, I had certain barriers that I wouldn't have had if I were a man. So quite in a lot of cases, it came in a form of a man.
Oh wow! Yes.
However, I've always been this person who was like, you know what, I can do stuff. I was always very resilient, and that is definitely my strength.
Amazing.
Going from country to country on my own, by myself, without any help, without any family, I was always very resourceful and resilient. So I kept going, you know, challenges came along the way. But as a woman, I have noticed, especially now, for example, when I became a mom, that there are things that are expected of us, like running a household, holding a job, doing your business, and still being that main driver for the whole family. And that is a very traditional role that a woman is meant to have. Still, we are brought up by the society, this is societal pressure that a woman is the carer. And the man is the provider. So men have their own pressures, women have our own pressures. But the way the society started to evolve, the women started being providers. You know,
definitely.
But now there's stigma on men that if they became a carer, you know, then people are
judging them.
Exactly, they are.
The judgment is there.
So there are pressures on both sides, not just on females. But we're trying to kind of raise women a bit higher, because a lot of women are still scared of even trying.
100%.
Because our moms, our grandmothers. I mean, my mom was so against me trying to start a business. She was like, what would you do that for? You got a PhD, why would you do a business? Just go in and do your science stuff. And like, because I feel in my heart, this is what I want to do.
It's your passion.
It's my mission. You know, I actually
love that.
feel it.
I love that mission.
I'm on a mission here.
So
there's just these things. So I was raised and brought up in this old-fashioned way of, there you are, take care of your brothers, and then you became a mom, take care of your child and do your job, and that's it, right? Take care of the house, take care of that. And it was difficult to kind of balance these things out. But I am very lucky to have a partner who's very open-minded, and when we discuss these things openly, he always comes halfway. You know, he takes a load off. He doesn't mind doing the dishes. He doesn't mind taking the child to the park and stuff like that, so I can focus on my business. And this is what I'm really, really passionate about, sharing this message onto other women, to kind of be able to say, I need this space and I need you to give it to me.
Like break the barrier, as you said, you know. And I think it doesn't even sometimes comes from being men or women, sometimes it comes from culture.
Totally.
Like definitely, I think culture plays a big part in terms of women empowerment and breaking that barrier. Especially in Asia. My mom is Filipina, and Filipinos are expected to be a caretaker. You only have two jobs. You either be a nurse or be a mom. Like, that was the stereotype for us. And growing up in that household, I was expected to be in the kitchen. I grew up with brothers, and they would always tell me, like, my dad would be like, yeah, go to the kitchen because you need to cook the rice. It's literally, I think culture definitely plays a big part. Did you felt like that too? Like,
absolutely, 100%. I was the first child and the only daughter.
Right.
So okay. I was raised to be the caretaker for everyone else. I was raised that I had to cook meals for my mother from the age of 7 by myself when she was working 2 jobs because she was a single mom.
Yeah.
And then I got brothers, and basically I was kind of expected to take over the care for my brothers.
Be the second mother.
Exactly, which I turned out to be. And I follow all these stereotypes and I follow all these cultural pressures until I literally had to move the country to get away from it. Right. And that was my moment when I kind of broke free, and when I started my journey as Monika, as who Monika. I am.
Not Monika the female, it's Monika.
Yeah.
Just
me.
Monika.
Just
you're
me.
human, and you own that title.
Exactly.
And it's definitely difficult, I think, to break that. We've come a long way. That's for sure. I think, like, considering what we were like going through in the 20s to the 50s, not having votes, or you have to go through that. We have to fight our right to be where we are, and I'm very privileged to be in this, living in this millennial world, but especially with the current pop songs, music, we were talking about earlier about Cardi B, and you said that you hated that song. Was it WAP?
No, not the Cardi B. It was
I can't remember. Oh wait, was this the I think
it's all about that bass.
Yeah, super. Yes, I know what that. All that bass. Megan Trainor.
That's it.
I think I'm saying it correctly. But yes, I do actually. Now that we mentioned, I do remember hearing that song, and I think as we shifted from having these catwalk skinny models to curvilicious, as they say.
Yes, body positivity.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
When we say body positivity, like, we're only loving one aspect, but not all of it. Almost like
exactly. So we're missing, like I mentioned that term before. We're missing that holistic view on things. So in a lot of ways, like women empowerment is a very strong topic for myself as well. In a lot of ways, it's being represented in women are good, women need to be supported, women are amazing, all about women, and they neglect the men. And this is something that I don't agree with. I mean, for the society and for a woman to succeed and for a man to succeed, you need everything.
Of course.
You need the collaboration, you need the cooperation, and you need that balance, because I know that when my partner is busy, I'll take over the stuff, or when I'm busy, he takes over the stuff, and that's the balance.
I think it's when we start putting roles to gender, that's when we get it wrong. I think that's when we go, like, women should be this and men should be that. I think that's where we get it wrong, because, like, then if you're not doing this, then you're doing a lousy job or something like that.
Absolutely. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong for a woman to do typical male things, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with a man doing typical female things.
No, definitely.
I actually find it even sexy.
Yeah. You're like, oh my god, you're doing the dishes?
Oh wow.
You clean the bed?
Honestly, it just takes such a big load off my shoulders.
Oh my god.
That it just makes me like, and then I relax. And when I'm relaxed, I could be the best possible partner to him as well.
Yeah.
And that's what women empowerment is
exactly
about. To be able to say to your own partner, to your friends, to your family, that I need time to create myself, or to spend time on myself.
Yes.
So then I can be the best mom, the best
partner,
partner, the best friend to you.
Yeah.
So the best gift you can give to someone is a gift of developing yourself into a better person.
I couldn't agree to you more, but like to you and to your partner as well, you can be both amazing to each other and everything. So amazing answer. definitely agree with you with that. And but let's move on to your business. I know you got your wee hat over there, Fit Factory. Fit Factory, and I was like, oh, over there.
That's my
Fit Factory, yes. And so tell me more about it. I want to know detail. And how did you start it? How did you come up with the name and everything? What's the story behind it?
Well, that's good.
Here she goes.
Oh, exciting. Okay, well, so Fit Factory is my baby, and as a big story in the background. So a long story short, I was overweight my entire life.
Wow, okay.
I was really an overweight child. I've been fed all the time because at that time, they didn't really understand anything. They were like, if they're chubby, that's good because that means they're healthy. So
oh really? Is that the stereotype?
Oh yeah,
back
totally.
home? Right.
Totally.
Okay.
So I was overweight my entire life, and then consequently, as I was growing up, I was growing bigger. And I was a straight A student at school.
Mm-hmm.
I always had really good relationship to my work. I always had good work ethics, good educational ethics. I enjoyed learning stuff. And that kind of put me in an awkward position because I was the fat nerd. So I was always bullied for it.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's fine. I mean, that's how it was. It's not fine, but I went over it. And growing up with that, I really developed a lot of mental health problems and body self-image problems.
Okay.
Hiding away from people, not enjoying certain social aspects of being a child or adolescent because I was so overweight that obviously people would make people would make fun out of me. And if we went to the beach, play volleyball, I never joined in because
so exclude yourself out of that.
Everything, and it's just I isolated myself. I mean, right now we all know how it feels to be isolated.
It's not good.
And that was basically me growing up, and it was a social person. I'm incredibly social. I love people. I mean, this is why I dance salsa. This is why I go to the gym. This is why I go everywhere where the people are. I just love people.
Yeah.
And it was really difficult for me. And this consequently, my mental health suffered. I was very anxious. I started doubting myself. I hated my own self, and that was so detrimental. I didn't get a first boyfriend until I was like 17. And even then, I actually didn't believe the guy when he asked me out on a date. I was like, what do you mean you're asking me out on a date? Honestly, so it was really, really difficult.
Wow,
and that kind of followed me for 10 years, basically. I had to figure all these things out. Luckily, I met a health coach, and she helped me understand the nutrition, the mindset, the exercise as a whole part, not just bits and pieces.
Right, okay.
Because when you're overweight or underweight or anything related to your body, you know these things.
Yeah.
You're aware of it.
Yeah.
You probably even tried solving the problem, but you failed. So I went on a diet and I failed. And I went on another diet and I failed.
Right.
So I ended up being this typical
yo-yo diet. Is that what they call it?
Yes, that's a yo-yo diet.
Yeah,
So you diet, you go back. You diet,
Right.
you go back. And I ended up piling up so much weight that, it was really bad. It was really, really bad.
Do you mind me asking what was your heaviest or?
So it was in kilograms. It was 91 kilograms.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're about, I think you're about same height as me. So
I'm about 170, so 5'6",
5'6", yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was quite heavy, and I was like, oh my goodness, one day I remember distinctively, I tried to reach down and tie my shoe, like really tried to get down to tie my shoe, and I couldn't, because my belly was in the way, because I was like all the mass, I just actually couldn't, so I have to put my foot up and do my shoe, and at that time, I remember that moment, I was like, clink. Oh my God, Monika, you need to do something.
You need to change.
Not for your weight, but for your health. I have diabetes in family, I've got heart disease in my family, I've got so many other things in my family. I'm like, if I continue the way that I am, this is my future. Okay. And I said, I don't want that. I refuse to do that. And I started taking control of my own life. So yet again, I signed up for the gym and started doing lots of cardio and going on low carb diet. Because did you
have a coach at this point? Did you have a PT or anything? No.
Nothing, just on my own. And everyone tells you, just cut out carbs and go to the gym. So that's what I did, And of course I lost some weight, because obviously when you cut the calories, but it wasn't sustainable. I couldn't continue.
Okay.
I couldn't, and I was just about to quit when I met my health coach.
Okay.
And she introduced me to nutrition in a whole different way. And I was very skeptical in the beginning. I was like, oh my God,
was this gonna work?
You just want my money, blah, blah, blah. Because back then, that was 10 years ago. Europe wasn't introduced to all these online coaches or all these different types of coaching, different types of approaching things. In the States, that's all developed and it's like really peaking already. Like online coaches are doing amazing jobs with people all over the world, but in Europe that's still kind of picking up. People are not understanding the whole how does that even work. So at that time when she kind of met me and introduced all this to me, I was like anyway, I had nothing else to lose but the weight. So I said, right, I tried everything, so I'll give it a go. And within the first month I lost a stone.
I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then obviously that was just a lot of water weight and all the stuff that we were kind of clinging onto. And then slowly but surely within the period of a year and just over a year, I lost altogether 4 stone of weight.
That's amazing.
It's 25 kilograms.
I think you should really hug yourself for that and like on the 4 stone. And see, when you lost the weight, did you feel the most comfortable? Did you
No. So the weight loss was not the biggest achievement for me. And I share this very open and honestly. It's not about the weight that I lost. It's about the life that I gained after I lost that weight.
Amazing. Okay.
So losing weight is easy. Keeping it off, it's the hard part.
Yes, of course.
Making those lasting changes, it's the hard part. And if I hadn't had that coach, if I hadn't had that accountability, the community, every time
support.
Exactly. Then I would probably bounce back and ended up where I was. So I managed to keep this weight off for 10 years. I got pregnant in between. I had a very healthy pregnancy and I managed to lose all the baby weight. And now in my mid-30s, I'm in the best shape of my life.
Okay.
And not just physically, but also mentally.
Okay.
And that was due to me losing those 4 stone.
Okay.
As my mind started developing, there was a lot of personal development that started. So anyway, I moved from Germany to Scotland then, and I did my PhD in St. Andrews, and I wasn't interested in doing the business, obviously, because, why would I? And then I was doing my job. I was employed in St. Andrews, and my lab, literally, not just metaphorically, literally burned down.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not metaphorically.
No, it actually literally. It was about the same time as the lockdown started this year.
Oh, so this year.
Last year.
Oh, right, last year, sorry.
So it was about the same time. So I kind of went through the same situation the year before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was basically locked at home without a job to do and thinking about my future and how secure my future actually is and all these kind of things. And I was like, well, why don't I start a business?
Oh.
I started thinking about that, and I've always been the natural networker. So I've always enjoyed talking to people. And when I was a single mom here in Scotland, I basically started connecting moms.
Okay, yes.
Naturally, oh, you're a mom, come join me. You're a mom, oh, come join me. And I was doing this for free. It was just connecting moms together to come and do some exercise in a park. So it's I know it's difficult, we're all going through struggles, but healthy lifestyle really helps with our mental health as well. So let's get together in a park, let's go for a walk, let's go for a buggy run, let's go and do some jumping jacks, whatever. And I did this naturally. And then from there, I was like, well, why don't I develop it into a business, right? Because that way, at least I can pay my bills.
At least you're doing something, commit yourself to something as well.
Exactly. And it was something that I could include my daughter into as well, which was very, very important for me.
Yeah.
So as my daughter, she's 5 now, but I started when she was just
very cute, I might say. I met her today and oh my God,
she can be
fantastic.
She can be.
Yeah.
As my daughter is so important, I always wanted to include her into my life. And back then I lived in Douglas in Dundee.
Okay.
And in Douglas there was Fun Factory. So there was this place.
Fun Factory, yes.
Yeah, there was this place where you would take kids with soft play and they would bounce about and they would just, go absolutely apeshit and you could just You could sit there, drink your coffee, and just have like 2 hours peace and quiet, and your kids would go crazy and they would jump on all these places. It was called Fun Factory. So when it came to like me deciding the name for what I want to name myself, I was like, well, you know, we've got Fun Factory. Why don't I call myself Fit Factory?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'm trying to create fit people, but I'm not talking about physically fit. I'm talking about life fit.
Life choices, lifestyle.
Everything, everything. It's the body, it's the mind, it's the creating yourself as a person. You know, and now I've been going on for almost 2 years. And I've literally changed lives. I mean, it's not about weight loss. And I always tell people weight loss is just a side effect of everything that we do. It's literally a side effect. Thing. So I literally have stories where a mom came to me where she had weekly meltdowns, like actual weekly mental meltdown. And she was, again, very skeptical, obviously, because it's different methods that I use. And she came to me, and now she's like, six months into my program, and she said to me, I keep reminding myself what I was and how I was calling it at 2 a.m. with my meltdown, saying I can't do this, I can't do that, what am I even thinking, all this. And she said, all you asked me to do is to eat breakfast, just to start with breakfast. And that's literally what I do. I tell people to start eating breakfast in a specific way, and that kind of gives them the start to start changing, you know. And I have the whole psychology behind it, but I'm not going to go into it. But all I did was tell her, eat breakfast. And that kind of started from eating breakfast to gaining more energy, to then starting to eat better throughout the day, through losing weight, to having more energy to deal with her daughter, to now having a completely different idea of where she wants to be in her life.
It's a mindset.
It's completely, she's a completely different person.
Amazing.
And it took only 6 months.
Don't you just love it though? Especially when it's like your company and you know, like, and you know your struggles and everything, and you look back and you're like, everything happened for a reason. I'm here, I'm happy, I'm making a difference. And you know, I couldn't applaud you. Like, you know, having a 5-year-old, everything must have not been easy, but like,
no, there's always challenges in life. Exactly. Always. But I really like to use that quote all the time that says, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you that matters.
Amazing. That's beautiful.
Because, you know, things happen to all of us. Shit happens, life happens to all of us. It's how we choose to react to it. We can actually choose. It's not all about, oh, poor me. I could just go like, oh, poor me. You know, I was a single mom for 3 years in a foreign country without a family. I could feel sorry for myself. But then I look around and like, you know what? There's so many women that have it so much worse than me. Like, I can take that experience right now and I can go and help a woman who is now a single mom in a foreign country with zero help. And I can be that help because I went through it, and I can now share my knowledge and how I overcame that.
It's like a domino effect. The more you help people, they're going to help and everything. But as you know, as we go on with this conversation, as we go near the end, do you have any advice for women out there, who's maybe in your position, single mom with kids and wanting that lifestyle change, that sustainable lifestyle change, and what would you like to say to them?
I would always just say, just take the first step. Just take the first step. Don't be scared. It is scary.
Could imagine.
But feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel it. Live it
anyway. I see a lot of girls, young girls, they're not necessarily moms yet, around here in Dundee or general, that are just scared to step outside of that circle of you're meant to be there. And I would just like to encourage them to actually step out of the circle. You are capable of doing great things. You are capable of creating a life that you want. There's 1,000 different ways of getting there, but you need to start. I see that I can give a same kind of metaphor from the gym, for example. So we were talking about this before. So I'm a power lifter, and more women are starting to use weights in their workout, and that's a very good example.
Strong is sexy. That's all like strong is sexy.
But it's still it's kind of similar, because most girls do not want to touch the weights because of the certain societal pressures and ideas and whatnot. But if you do, you will become incredibly confident, and not just that, your body is going to do things that you never thought you were capable of. I've got a nice group that is very supportive with lots of wonderful women. So join my group, Fit Factory Health Warriors, because we're warriors. It's mostly women, but boys are welcome too.
Everyone
we love our boys.
We love our men.
We do love our men.
Yes, please do support Fit Factory, and if you want to learn more, head to Facebook, Instagram, and other more social media. And yeah, thank you for listening to us.
Thank you for having me.
If there's anything else, take care of each other, sanitize, wear your mask. So yes,
wash your hands.
Merry Christmas, Dr. Monika.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you.